The first story comes from a late-night submission. The title is just one sentence. My 19-year-old daughter is pregnant, and the father of the child almost killed her. This mother says her daughter is 19 this year and was supposed to receive her bachelor's degree in accounting in May because she had already completed many college courses during high school. A smart, hardworking girl with a promising future. But life never goes easy on you just because you are excellent. The girl's boyfriend was her first love. 21 years old, no job, didn't finish high school, no direction in life. His mother is a sex worker who has been arrested multiple times. He has no father. He himself has been arrested 4 times. Hearing this, you might already be frowning. But the situation is far worse than just choosing the wrong person. This man abused her. Not arguments, not incompatibility, real, physical abuse. He nearly killed her several times. He also hurt her pet cat. The girl lived in a college dorm. By the time she realized the relationship was toxic, it was already too late. He forced her to go to his house every weekend, threatening to kill her and her family if she didn't. Once, he locked her inside his house for 3 full days. 3 days. On the last day, she screamed for help. A neighbor heard her and rescued her. She went to the police. He was arrested. He is now in prison. Then, last week, she found out she was pregnant. About 5 weeks. She scheduled an abortion for Monday. She called her mother and asked if she could pick her up and take her to the clinic. Her mother refused. Her mother said, "I believe abortion is wrong. I cannot participate in this." But it is your choice. At the end of the letter, the mother wrote, "I know she's not ready to have a child, and I don't want to help raise the baby either, but I believe abortion is wrong. My heart is broken. I can't sleep." What would you do? Friends, I need to pause and ask you a question. If you were this mother, what would you do? Don't rush to answer. Let's go deeper into this story first. This mother says she grew up in a Christian family, reading the Bible and praying with her daughter every night. A home full of love and faith. Now, that home has been torn apart. When I read this letter, the sentence that struck me most was not about the abortion debate, but something else the mother said. She's very smart academically, but very immature in life. This sentence is worth pausing to think about. A 19-year-old girl, about to receive a college degree, yet controlled, abused, and imprisoned by a man with no high school diploma and for arrests. Intelligence and maturity have never been the same thing. She can get Anna in an accounting exam, but that doesn't mean she can recognize a dangerous person. It doesn't mean she knows how to protect herself when threatened. It doesn't mean she can say no, because the word no, in the face of violence, is the hardest word to say. There is a psychological concept I want to share with you: trauma bonding. When someone is in an abusive relationship, especially when the abuser repeatedly threatens to kill her and her family, her nervous system enters a state of extreme alertness. Fear and attachment become strangely intertwined. The occasional kindness from the abuser is magnified by the brain and becomes a lifeline. This is not weakness. This is a survival mechanism under extreme stress. This girl is not stupid. She is trapped out now. She is trapped in another choice. She does not want this child. She says she fears the child may inherit genetic problems from the father's side, fears possible intellectual disabilities. She has no job. Her mother is too ill to help. She is alone. So she scheduled an abortion. And her mother, because of her religious belief, refuses to drive her to the clinic. I think we all need to face an honest question. Is this mother standing firm in her faith or using faith to avoid an extremely difficult decision? Because she said something, please listen carefully. I know she's not ready to have a child, and I don't want to help raise the baby. She doesn't want to help raise the baby. This is completely understandable. She says she is too sick. She may truly be ill. Or she may just be exhausted. Or she feels she has already raised her child and doesn't want to raise another. But when this sentence is placed next to "I believe abortion is wrong," a difficult question arises. If you don't want this child, and you don't want to help raise this child, then what do you expect your daughter to do? Carry a child she does not want, without a job, without a partner, the father is in prison, without a support system, and live alone? Is this the sanctity of life, or does the sanctity of life only exist before the child is born? Let me be clearer. I am not here to tell anyone whether abortion is right or wrong. Everyone has their own beliefs, their own conscience, their own relationship with God. I respect that. But I do want to invite you to think about one question. When our beliefs conflict with someone else's reality, how should we respond? This mother could say to her daughter, "I believe abortion is wrong. I won't take you there, and I won't pay for it. But I will still love you and support you no matter what decision you make. If you choose to keep the baby, I will help you find resources, support groups, or adoptive families. If you choose abortion, I will be sad, but I will not leave you." But that is not what she did. She refused to drive her daughter to the clinic. What does that mean? It means this 19-year-old girl who has just escaped a violent relationship, just recovered from being imprisoned for 3 days, just discovered an unexpected pregnancy, now has to figure out how to get to an unfamiliar place, face a procedure alone, and return to her dorm by herself. Is this what she needs? Is this love? Sometimes love means letting go of what we believe is right to walk beside the person we love on the path they must take. It may not be the path you would choose, but it is not your path, it is hers. There is a verse in the Bible, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged." I am not judging this mother. I am inviting her and all of you to think about this. If love only happens when you feel comfortable, is it still love? I want to say a few words to this mother, and I hope everyone listening will hear them too. Mom, I know you can't sleep. I know your heart is broken. I know you feel you are standing firm in your faith. But please imagine this. Monday morning, your daughter takes a bus alone to that clinic. No one is holding her hand. No one sits with her in the waiting room. No one drives her back to the dorm. When you imagine this, what do you feel? I am not telling you to change your beliefs. I am asking, is this the way you want it to be? You say you refuse to participate in the abortion, but you are already participating, just in a more painful way. You are participating in her going through this alone. If you drove her on Monday morning, walked her to that door, held her hand in the waiting room, then drove her home, made her a bowl of soup, let her cry in your arms, you wouldn't change her decision. She would still make it, but you would change how she experiences it. From alone to loved, from rejected by her mother to accompanied by her mother. Mom, she didn't ask you to agree with her choice. She only asked you not to let her face it alone. This is not betraying your faith. This is living your faith. Because what does your faith teach? Love, compassion, being with those who suffer, not condemning, leaving judgment to God. If you believe abortion is a sin, then that sin is hers, not yours. God will not judge you for driving your daughter to the clinic. God will look at your heart. Did you go with love or with coldness? I want to say one last thing to everyone listening before we end tonight. We always want the people we love to make the right choices. But sometimes, love is not about telling others what to choose. Love is choosing to stand beside them even when they make a choice you disagree with. Because the true test of love is never in the moments you agree. The true test of love is in the moments you don't. What this daughter is about to face is already hard enough. Please don't make it harder. Second story, we'll call her Sarah and her daughter Emily, 16 this year. Emily met a boy named Luke through the church youth fellowship. Luke is 18, just graduated high school, taking courses at the local community college. His parents sit in the same pew every Sunday singing hymns. His father has even led Bible study with Sarah's husband. In Sarah's words, a good family, a good boy. So when Emily cried and said, "I slept with Luke, and I might be pregnant," Sarah's first reaction was not anger, but a complete sense of unreality, like finding a goldfish in your daily cup of coffee. She drove to Walgreens and bought 3 different brands of pregnancy tests. The cashier smiled at her, but she didn't even have the strength to return the smile. Back home, Emily locked herself in the guest bathroom. 2 minutes later, the door cracked open, half her tear-streaked face visible, and she nodded. Sarah said that in that moment, it felt like her heart was being pressed down like a Thanksgiving turkey under a meat press. But she walked over and hugged her daughter. She didn't say, "How could you do this?" She didn't say, "You've shamed this family." She said, "It's okay. We'll face this together." In the next few days, Sarah barely slept. While feeding and changing diapers for the newborn twins, she kept calculating Emily's due date, probably next spring. Her husband, Tom, a part-time pastor and full-time auto mechanic, heard the news, stayed silent for a long time, then went into the garage and stood facing the wall for 10 minutes. When he came out, his eyes were red. He only said, "Tomorrow I'll go talk to Luke's parents." What Sarah feared most wasn't denial from Luke's family, but that they would gracefully suggest Emily move in with them to rest and quietly arrange for the baby to be given away, something not uncommon in their small evangelical town. But Luke's father came the next afternoon, carrying a basket of homemade cinnamon rolls. As soon as he walked in, he said, "We are deeply sorry. Luke will take responsibility. No matter what Emily decides, we are here." You see, the story didn't turn into a melodrama. But what truly kept Sarah awake was a thought that struck her at 3 a.m. While feeding the twins, maybe Emily felt unseen at home. The oldest of 8 children, in a family with a part-time pastor, not financially abundant, a mother who had just given birth to twins and barely had time to sleep, was this 16-year-old girl too lonely? Did she long for someone to look only at her, to touch her, to say, "You matter"? Then Luke appeared and gave her that attention. And things happened. Emily's story is both a warning and a grace. Because this baby, planned or not, will force this family to relearn how to communicate. Sarah will set aside 15 minutes just for Emily after feeding the twins, even if it's just to stroke her hair. Tom will change his sermons, no longer focusing only on sexual purity, but on emotional presence in the family. And Emily will become a young mother, and in caring for her baby, she will, for the first time, truly understand how tired her own mother once was. Finally, I want to say to the mother who wrote this letter, dear one, you do not need to blame yourself. You just gave birth to twins. You have already given Emily the greatest gift you could, a hug without shame. Please believe that God does not need you to be a perfect mother. He only asks you to be a real one, willing to walk this road with your daughter. As for Emily, she will be afraid, she will be lost, but in the coming months, she will feel, perhaps for the first time, her mother's full attention, not out of guilt, but because life is connecting with life. Dear listeners, that's all for tonight's story. If you are a parent, remember, behind every mistake your child makes, there may be an unspoken "please see me." And if you are young, remember, no one's embrace is worth trading for consequences you cannot bear. True love will never leave you trembling in a bathroom, staring at a pregnancy test. May we all become people with whom others don't need to pretend. Good night. all the souls listening under the starlight, see you tomorrow night. This story in this issue is adapted from real submissions. And personal information has been anonymized if you or someone around you is facing similar difficulties. Please call the Youth Help Hotline or seek professional psychological counseling.